Hey guys, this week's podcast features returning guests Pete and Chris from Lloyd Taco Truck. Pete and Chris came down, talked about what's new with the truck since our last conversation, new food truck legislation, and their big plans for 2013. Let's get to it.
Yeah, no, when I said when you guys came down here, I looked it up. It was like mid-January. I think like January 15th of last year when you guys came down. And when we talked, like, no legislation stuff had been set. Like, everything was still in the preliminary talks. It was before DOS hit the streets. I think it was before the Kickstarter even.
Yep.
It was a long, long time ago compared to where you guys
either that or we just bunched a lot of stuff into 1 year here. Just went for it.
It was a pretty busy year.
Yeah, it was pretty busy.
For the whole food truck scene.
I think a lot of it hinged on the legislation, which we were crossing our fingers was going to be ready by February 1st.
Yeah.
Which allowed us to get out way more than we were. It's not that we couldn't do it beforehand. Of course we could, but then we ran the risk of getting shut down.
Yeah, we were being good little soldiers and whatnot.
Yeah, at someone's whim, which is just extremely frustrating. So we figured, well, maybe we won't even bother.
How was the challenge of adding a second truck? Like, were you guys pretty prepared at that point, or was it a little shock?
I don't think any big addition you take on like that, I don't think you're ever truly prepared. You don't have all angles covered. I mean, I'm a planner. You know, I write everything down. I have to keep notes, and I did my best, and we were still struggling the first couple weeks.
I thought we were pretty damn organized, but at the end of the day, when you're trying to almost double the size of your business, and do that with
it's
people,
just a logistical nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, like the staff was probably way smaller than it is now.
It was way smaller at that point,
and we hired specifically for it. And then we found out that we needed to hire more because we still couldn't keep up.
We learned a lot from it because really you have an attrition rate where you're bringing like 4 or 5 people, and you end up with one good person.
Yeah,
and that's kind of been our rule of thumb moving forward.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think the biggest curveball with the truck post Kickstarter was when it got here, we had a lot of issues with it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really up and running until, probably August, September, in a regular fashion.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, we had the fire, so...
Yeah, fire. Good old fire.
I know we're jumping to things, but...
Yeah, no. I mean,
the Kickstarter was probably... we caught a lot of flack for that, but...
Yeah. We knew we were going to catch a little bit, but I didn't think there'd be a resounding thumbs down from a lot of people.
It's one of those conversations that, like, I find myself having with somebody who doesn't understand it or doesn't believe in Kickstarter, and it's one of those things where it's like almost like a political discussion at one point where it's just like I can't convince you why this is a thing that I like and why you don't. Like,
it should be up there with the 2 things that you can't talk about on a first date, like, religion and politics.
Yeah. And Kickstarter.
Right, of course. But I think it speaks about how someone, what their fundamentals are, what their beliefs are. And I would happily debate anyone who thinks it's a bad idea.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like black market. I mean, they weren't dissuaded by it. They saw the value of it, and it worked out for them.
Turns out, Amy's truck, she did her own version of it.
Okay. I'm
not sure if it was successful or not. And then Mr. Lanyap decided that he wanted to do something of similar nature. And
I think he pulled the plug on both of them.
Yeah. Wasn't a supporter of any of that.
So that's what. Not all of them succeed. So you have to have the right climate.
It's a really picky thing.
If anyone takes the time to look at Kickstarter, it is a great gauge for how well your new product or new business is going to be received.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you went into it with, at that point, you guys already had thousands of Facebook fans.
Yeah.
Thousands of Twitter followers. Like, you had an audience, and it's still, I mean, came down. To
still
the
came
last
down to the
day-
wire.
last day.
It
Like
did.
I remember pushing for like that last 8 hours. Like
Yeah.
everyone on Facebook and Twitter. And
It
like,
was risque, but I think a lot of what we do is so.
My parents called me at like the 11th hour, and they're like, "Do you want us to just give the last amount of money? Because I don't know if you're gonna hit it. Do you just want me to do it?" I'm like, no, we need to just do it. If we're gonna succeed, we're gonna succeed.
we
If we're
want
gonna
it-
fail, we're gonna fail.
Yeah, we weren't looking for cash strapped
Yeah.
friends and family to
Yeah.
be. But I mean, you hope that the trade off is worth it.
Yeah.
People are receiving something in return, and the weirdest part is we weren't the first. Actually, we were the second to use Kickstarter.
Yeah, yeah.
The Western Book Art Center
yeah.
used it before us,
And I think
and they did
Community
it
Beer
for
Works, too.
for an addition
Yeah.
and an expansion of their business, as we did. And then obviously Community Beer Works did as well. So
Yeah. It
I don't know.
It was,
I
it was
think-
interesting. I was shocked by it. I did not. I had no idea that there was that type of thought about Kickstarter. It's like a whatever, like a negative thing. And when I started seeing
it's
Buffalo Rising comments, which are the worst
Yeah.
thing to even look at. Period.
I'm starting to like coin this phrase like Buffa think, like or Buffalo think, group
Nice.
think, and
Should be
there are
Twitter.
just some friggin' haters out there
Yeah.
that aren't down with anything new or anything different. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if someone wants to give up a slice of their company, go for it. But if we have the opportunity to protect that,
Yeah.
then why not? I mean, it's
At
not
least
like
in
we
the-
don't have loans.
at
People
least in
think
the
we just
infancy,
run
yeah.
around like we're bandits or something.
Still, we get that. Yeah.
yeah.
And it couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, almost every penny that we've made in this business, we've reinvested in it because it's important, from where we see ourselves going.
Yeah. I mean, like having that second truck. Like, did you notice this year that you guys like grew in terms of popularity or in terms of like an audience and things like that? Because, so like to also recap, Chris, it was before you competed in Nicholas A. Chef,
Right,
which
that's
you
true.
won,
Correct.
and it was before Teddy competed in Firing Line, and he just competed in Nicholas A. Chef, which he won both of those. So, like, you guys are kind of. I think I might have had this discussion. You guys really aren't the underdogs so much in terms of people, at least in my opinion, thinking that you guys are just serving whatever tacos out of a truck and it's like a dirty little thing. Like I
Right.
feel
I
like
hope
the
the perception's
the
changing.
it
That
seems
was
like you
a
guys
huge
are
part of
getting-
our goal. So hopefully
Yeah.
we've succeeded in that.
I mean, we've done our best to legitimize.
It's not without effort, though. I mean, it's
Yeah.
taken a lot of time, a lot of research, a lot of our personal time that we're not getting paid for. We're never gonna, reap any more benefits from. But I think we have legitimized at least our brand and our
Yeah.
Lloyd.
Yeah. And I think it was also right around when you guys started shipping off the sauce to
True,
Wegmans.
it
and
was
things like-
actually
yeah.
that January, February. I think February was
Yeah.
our first order to Wegmans.
Yeah, so I mean it's you guys have done I mean your name is out there. I mean people who know about food trucks, the number one truck that they most likely know is your truck.
I hope I'm really happy to hear that. I mean,
Yeah.
we've worked pretty hard to get it to that point, and we want to keep it that way. And,
Yeah.
I think I told you this before. You got to be first, or you got to be the best, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still happy we were first.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, how do you feel about the truck scene over the last year too? Because since then, a lot of there's probably been maybe 6 new trucks that have hit the streets.
There's some trucks that are doing some good things now.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. And I think when this second legislation passes or doesn't pass or whatever, when there's a more concrete, playing field out there that people know that what they could do and how to plan for it.
Yeah.
We're going to start seeing a new evolution,
Right.
and a bigger jump in quality.
Yeah.
But like the black market, Frank even Kelly Brewster in the Sweet Hearth, she's doing a lot of great things.
Yeah.
her desserts are
They're
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah. I
amazing.
kind of want to get her to come down here and talk.
I'm sure she would.
She's,
She would be open to that.
Really sweet lady too.
Yeah.
And
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
just this year, just seeing those 2 trucks, Black Market and Frank, like
Yeah,
they're going out of the way to offer something unique.
and I sort of see it in like 3 stages. It was us, and then there was like that second group of trucks, and then now you have the third group of trucks.
Yeah.
Where you really see a difference in the product, the variety. And then I think once the legislation, not that it's going to be in stone, but no longer has a sunset clause, then anyone who's a prospective truck owner, food truck owner, now knows what rules they're going to be playing by and will be able to make a decision. And I think that's probably what's keeping some of the other people from getting started.
The risk level is still a little bit too high for most, I think. I mean, even though the barrier to entry is a little bit lower than a brick and mortar, the risk level that you might not have a business next year.
Or just one that is incredibly difficult to operate.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there's other factors, about how much business we can possibly do with the constraints that we have. We'd like to see that changed, but that's a topic for legislation. And
well, let's talk about the legislation. So it ends the current what's on the books. This ends at the end of this month, technically.
April 1st.
Yep.
Yeah.
April 1st.
I mean, you could always. They can extend it.
Yeah.
Things are going to come right down to the wire. I mean,
Okay.
Truthfully, they're going to come right down to the wire, and it might lapse for maybe 10 days or something. We'll have to see what happens. I think it'd just be easier for everyone to just turn their head and because we're coming up to this point where more than likely next Thursday they're going to vote.
Yeah.
And then it has a 10-day aging process. And in this 10 days, the mayor can either sign it or he can veto it or he can choose to do nothing.
Yeah.
If he chooses to do nothing, it's the same as him signing it.
Okay.
So it would be the same as an approval.
Okay.
But it's been the mayor's policy, from what we've been told, to let the proper course of action sort of develop. So he will probably wait the 10 days, and he only reserves those signing instances for when something is extremely imminent, like a fiscal matter or someone's not going to get paid or something. So I don't feel we fall into that category as important
the food trucks
as
are
I
not,
would like to think.
Are not on the top of
but
his
they've
agenda.
but the second floor of City Hall has been extremely hush about this. So it's a hot topic issue, and he probably it's probably best if he doesn't comment on it, really.
So when we were talking last time, it was before the first legislation, and it seemed like all the trucks had pretty much come together as kind of like one force. Even some people who said they were planning to open a truck, I think Alexis, who didn't even have a truck at the time, spoke.
And there was also a couple other people who didn't end up getting trucks because of the legislation. Because they wanted more. But.
Yeah, and then even a couple of people from the public. I know Krista was there, and SIL and Badinko. How's that coming together with this new push for the new legislation that's coming up? I mean, are you guys still pretty united as trucks?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've actually built the association now, the Western New York Food Truck Association.
Which we hope to rename the Buffalo Food Truck Association, just because I don't like the acronym WNYNFTA. What? I'm being honest. I don't like it. I don't like there already is an NFTA in there. We are the Buffalo Food Truck Association. We're not going to Genesee County. We're not going to.
You got to think about the brand.
The most important part is the branding. The most important part is that we're together. We're fighting against a common enemy as a group.
Yeah.
And there's only one truck that's not included in that. I don't want to mention any names, but they were doing some incorrect things, and they're currently not included in our lawyer. Mitch, his talks and whatnot with the city.
So he doesn't formally represent the other truck.
I see, yes.
But, I mean, I think just all of us being able to come together is a sign of, how important it is in the caliber of people that are involved here, because some of us have had to set aside some personal differences to kind of like, hey, at the end of the day, we got to do business. It doesn't matter if you like my food or I don't like your food, or well, let's just ignore it, and we got to get this done.
Yeah,
and
I mean, so last time also there were some vocal people who are against legislation or against like. I don't want to say food trucks in general. I hope they don't just blindly hate it, but like business owners and things like that.
Yeah, I mean,
have people come out this time around too, or maybe not as publicly?
No, not as much. I mean, talk about the common players last time.
Yeah,
I mean, do you mind if we mention them? Or
hey, it's up to you guys.
Okay, yeah. So I mean,
anyway, you can watch the video. You can see the guy from Zeddy's
it's no doubt
talk his mouth.
You got Zeddy's, you got ETS,
you
got Jim's Steakout, and you got Just Pizza.
Yeah.
And I think early on, Jim's Steakout peeled away because they just realized maybe it wasn't a good move. You know, I think their pages were getting assaulted, not by our doing, but I think people were going on there saying, hey, you know, just give these guys their fair crack at serving food. It doesn't really impact you. And in the reality of it, the food truck or the food industry should grow in general. I mean,
and
if you look at most of the cities that have great food scenes, they have great food truck scenes. So
exactly, yeah.
Think of it as like a rising tide or something. There's going to be more people interested in eating in Buffalo. Therefore, more people are going to be willing to try certain restaurants or food trucks. So
exactly.
But
this time around, of that group, there haven't been really any rumblings.
No,
and there hasn't
any
been.
Of them.
There wasn't anything formally filed by their attorney, who at the time was Michael Kushoian, and he is just keeping tabs to monitor that the 100-foot restriction continues to stay the same.
Okay,
and that doesn't seem like it's moving.
Okay.
So the newest player is Tucker Curtin, who
you
know, as you know, owns the Steer, Lake Effect Diner, Woody's,
and
Doug's Dive, and maybe even some other place. I don't know. And, you know, a guy, you got to respect him because he's done it.
Absolutely.
He's got a bunch of clout. He's went places where other people weren't willing to go and, you know, really state the claim for himself.
And hell, Lake Effect Diner brought national attention with
guy's been on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Diners,
so and good for him. You know, kudos to him. But I still think that, you know, at the end of the day, it's short-sighted to think that we're impacting his business or anything like that. I mean, he's got more resources than we do. He can go open a food truck if he wanted to. Like, you know, so that's disappointing. But you're going to come across that. But I think after 18 months, to have one guy who's saying that they don't think food trucks are a good idea, or I don't think that he thinks they're not a good idea. I think he just really wants to control them.
And I think it was just the doings of the one particular truck that kind of
rubbed him the wrong way,
pissed off. So, if that hadn't have happened, we would have had
probably would be clear sailing.
Nobody,
truthfully. And I know that sounds really shitty, but it's really true. So you know, we gotta bite our tongue, but it's okay. We got to re-educate everyone on this. We'll do it again. We'll do it again. I got to say, we worked harder this time around.
Definitely,
and we're gonna,
a lot harder.
We're going to be getting less results from it. But
I mean, so
whatever.
Do you guys have an idea of what you guys are going to quote unquote win and lose on in terms of the deals or the details?
Yeah, I think for the most part.
I mean, so basically, the last one said that you had to be 100 feet away.
Correct. Yeah, 100 feet away from restaurants, 100 feet away from hot dog carts.
Initial year
permit was $1,000.
Initial year permit was $1,000.
Okay, yeah.
Second year, if you're under good, terms.
No, he's talking about last year.
Oh, you're talking about
I'm talking about last year. So
okay,
like these are what you guys were coming into this. This is what you had.
This is what we had coming into it.
Yeah.
And between us and the listeners, our original intent was to do two things: reduce the proximity restriction to 50 feet.
Yeah.
Because we hope that there's going to be 30 trucks here.
Yeah.
And it's going to be easier for us to operate. And then to also take a look at Buffalo Place and really try and break that down. Because right now, we can only be in one spot in Buffalo Place. And there's really only one other spot available for trucks. We have to be stationary.
Yeah.
The permit's almost $1,400. And it's not in a great part of town. You know, it's not near the convention center. It's not near the arena. It's not near Chippewa. It's not near the waterfront.
So Buffalo Place, like, for anyone who doesn't know, I know that runs down Main Street pretty much
different
the entire way.
So the boundaries really go from West Tupper to Washington, all the way to the arena, to the water, and then back towards Elmwood, Delaware, and West Tupper.
Okay, so it's a pretty busy
big chunk.
Big chunk of downtown Buffalo.
Huge.
I mean, it's basically all downtown.
And it is what's called the Special Vending District. So
yeah.
It's regulated by Buffalo Place, which has its own board, and we're hoping at some point, we can address that. But because of what happened, we decided that, we have to actually just protect what is.
Yeah.
And be, scrambled, for lack of a better term, to cover up for the mistakes of...
Yeah, and just save that whole other Buffalo Place battle for...
It's got to be addressed at another time, and it will.
Because that's not expiring or anything like that, right?
No.
That's pretty much just set, and it's going to continue.
Set, and there's really been no talks at all
Yeah,
regarding
opening
that.
it up.
Yeah.
And you guys have your Maine and Mohawk place. That's basically your point in their whole structure.
It is, and we're sort of grandfathered in. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it makes sense, but we're grandfathered in if we want to keep that spot.
Yeah.
Just in the way that a hot dog vendor in front of HSBC Arena or First Niagara Center is grandfathered in. He's been there for the last 13 years. He can continue to vend there.
Yeah.
I'd prefer a lottery system so that again, the trucks would be able to compete on the level that the hot dog vendors are going to compete at. And that's what we're going to shoot for. And we're also going to shoot for a reduced fee. Mm-hmm. And then there's really no reason why trucks shouldn't be a canal side. So we want that to be opened up.
That'd be awesome.
And the fact that the subway line's getting torn out, and I don't think they know how they want the vending to go anyway down there.
Yeah.
So it's just
that's
it
going
has to be
change
revised.
Over,
I mean, we don't even know. We're parked at Maine and Mohawk, obviously, and the building right behind us is supposedly rented now. We don't know by whom.
E-Cafe moved in next door, so they made us move like in the original spot that we were in front of this rented building that Chris was talking about.
It was an old Burger King.
Okay.
And then the building across the street is now completely, remodeled, and the law firm moved in. So, I mean, where are they going to put us next?
Yeah.
So to answer your question, that is not set in stone. Made in Mohawk. We don't know. They made Renee move.
A little bit, yeah. They made her move
Renee
back
move a
like
bit.
20 feet or something.
Yeah, because there's a period of time where you could just walk down Main Street and like kind of hit like one after the other because everyone had their like designated spot.
Yeah.
But
I think it's because there's a concern about having the trucks on the street downtown, which is completely asinine. But to get around that, they're saying a sidewalk's not going to work because you guys are too big.
Yeah.
But being on Main Street with the subway line would be fine, despite the fact that it's a nightmare to be down there.
Yeah. And that's like probably... Do you guys still go there that often? I mean, I don't...
We're there every Friday.
Okay.
And hopefully in the summertime we'll be able to be there 2 days a week.
Yeah, because in the summertime, like that line...
Otherwise, it's just it's a wind tunnel,
Yeah, but I mean, it's got to be one of your most popular
It
spots,
is. It's one of our favorite places to be,
It is. Where we started. We used to go there every day.
Yeah.
Do you remember those days?
Every day, man.
Every day. Maine and Mohawk. That's all we knew.
Didn't matter.
You didn't even know other areas of the
No.
city.
No, we did. We just couldn't.
Yeah, you didn't know how to get to them or
Who to talk to, and
Yeah.
And it's crazy. So we don't want to abandon it.
I would freak out when you guys would, like, one night you were on, like, Allen, and Allie and I were like, holy shit. We, like, ran down because you were in front of, like, a Hero or something like that.
yes, that was true. That was one of our first
times.
Yeah.
But back to what you're saying, I think you were trying to make the distinction between what we have now
Yeah.
and what's going to be changing here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah. So
we had outside of downtown. We should have started there.
Yeah,
we gotta be
another...
in excess of 100 feet of an open restaurant.
Okay.
And 100 feet of a hot dog vendor.
Yeah.
And that permit costs $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of the meat and potatoes of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, since we're not going to make any headway on the 100 feet,
Yeah.
we wanted to address the fee because the fee is astronomical.
Yeah, and
highest in the nation.
One of the
by a lot.
highest in the nation.
I was going to say, these arguments aren't just you being like, it's not fair. Like, you
We're
have
not-
actual proof of
we have
other
a ton of
countries.
proof.
We're not being
cities.
Pages and
crybabies.
pages and pages of proof.
And
Yeah.
you know what? If anyone would just take some time to look at the beautiful statistics,
Yeah.
and the paperwork, the things that we've prepared, and the things that we've also gotten from the Institute for Justice, which is a fantastic organization, and we're really happy that they are willing to go to bat for food trucks.
Yeah.
Anyone who looks at that information would come away, where we've come away, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like there's literally one city, maybe two. No, I think it's one city that's in greater fee than Buffalo, and it's El Paso, Texas. So I ask, why? 50 largest cities. We pulled the most data from there. The average of those 50 cities is, if you do the low end calculations, 298. If you do the high end calculations, 368.
Jeez.
And the mean of that is 333.
Wow.
333. So that's the national average of the top 50 largest cities. We're number 74, 75. We don't even make that list.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a pretty big
why
discrepancy.
why $1,000?
Yeah.
Give me a good reason. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get good reason, truthfully. And
No.
I think it's...
That's what we've been asking for.
At the end of the day, it's about appeasing some constituents, which are, restaurant owners and other people who have more pull than we do.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, because that's not a revenue thing. I mean, like...
You can't say the
Technically,
fate of the city...
You're not going to help balance the budget by paying another $500.
The fate of the city doesn't rest on the
Off
backs
of 9,
of
10
us.
trucks. No.
And, I mean, is it really just a thing where they hope that the barrier of entry is just... It makes it...
Well,
I think that's why they want to keep the initial fee high,
Yeah.
and then.
and then the renewal they're
second
proposing
year.
500.
Oh, okay.
But even at 500, we're still
Yeah.
way above the national average.
Yeah.
And I think 1,000 is still tough. A barrier of entry argument only goes so far because it didn't stop one individual from getting involved and causing some ruckus. And I would think it would be horrible if, maybe... I don't know, a Burmese immigrant wanted to open a truck and didn't have the resources, and we have to sacrifice eating that delicious food because we're worried about barriers of entry. The marketplace is going to sort out, who's going to be able to afford it, survive, and who isn't.
I think at the end of the day, after spending $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 on a truck, $1,000 permit fee is not, it's the least of your worries.
Yeah. So it's disappointing.
It is. It's disappointing, and you think the other argument would be, well, the city needs to recoup their expenses based on what it costs them to develop the permit and execute the permit and then enforce the permit.
Yeah.
And we've been told that is around $300.
Yeah.
So I'm liking 300. It's near the national average. The city's getting their money.
Yeah.
We're paying about what restaurants are paying. I think restaurants are being paid, anywhere from like $88 to $340.
Yeah.
So, we're all serving food. Cool.
Yeah.
But I think there's this big problem where people are still like, you're a hot dog cart or you're a restaurant.
Yeah.
They're not treating us like a food truck.
There's no in between.
There should be a different set of rules, a different permit, a different fee, a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
You just don't find that.
Not going to get it.
So speaking of legislation and permits, what has been the development of the Amherst scenario?
That's enough to make me put my head through this drywall here.
It's turning out to be...
Because that all happened after our podcast as well.
Yeah,
that fuss.
Be a bigger nightmare than the city.
It's looking like that with their proposed legislation that they sent out.
Now, granted, I mean, a lot of it is probably unconstitutional, but at the same time, do we have the $30,000 it's going to cost us to take the town of Amherst to court, or even the city of Buffalo to court for that matter?
Yeah.
Because I firmly believe if we did take them to court, the 100-foot proximity restriction would be found to be unconstitutional, because in other states, that same challenge has happened and been won on the part of vendors.
I see.
So if you look at, again, I'm going to use the top 50 top 50 cities in the country.
Yeah.
20 of them, only 20 have proximity restrictions. And of those 20, 10, most of them are 100 feet or less.
Yeah.
10 of them say the proximity restriction only applies if you're serving similar food.
Okay.
So that kind of that gives you more room to play.
And that kind of makes sense.
It does kind of make sense,
because I mean,
if you were going to make that argument,
it's true. As free market of it is to have to say, like, let's just say whose food is better. There is also something a little upsetting about purposely going to a restaurant that serves the exact same food and parking in front of it. It just doesn't create a good image.
I'd give you that all day.
Yeah.
And I hope no one does that.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone has.
Yeah, no,
done
and
that.
I don't think that's the intention of any of you guys or any of the owners. I don't think.
I think it would be stupid.
Yeah.
Be stupid because you'd be cannibalizing both businesses, and it would be stupid because you'd be pissing people off in the community in which they've made an investment.
And making the
you're
drama
going into that
a bigger news story and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. So the Amherst stuff, though, that's not looking up.
It's not looking good. I think the first or second week of April, we have our first meeting there, our first public meeting.
Okay.
So.
And you guys have been working. Has Amherst become a pretty big part of your business?
It is. It has.
I mean, they have huge
five,
business parks.
6 stops a week.
I mean, legitimately, we can run one truck there.
Yeah.
And if the legislation was going to go where we wanted it to for both places, we were going to get a third truck.
Yeah.
And right now, that's definitely up in the air still.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. That's. I mean, that's kind of where we're going with this. Is how does this make you guys feel going forward as
uneasy
as owners of
sure.
two food trucks? Because when I had Teddy down here, he did also mention the thought of a third truck and exploring other areas of Western New York. Is that just kind of all put on the pause right now, or
it's in pause? It's in slow motion. Let's put it that way. Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah. We've sourced the truck. I mean, we know where to get the equipment. We have every process in line right now. We've learned a lot over the past 2 years.
It's your third time around.
Third time around. We should know how to do this by now. But
it's your third rodeo.
So, I mean, we could make it happen quick, but it's like, do we want to do it now? I mean, if we're going to keep hitting these barriers and walls, I mean, why do we want to keep putting ourselves through that?
Mm-hmm. Worst case scenario, we get the third truck. Things don't go as planned. We take that truck to Rochester and hope that.
Well, I was going to say their situation sounds pretty messed up.
The situation's pretty messed up, but it's starting to move in the right direction.
Yeah. So. They just they're basically where you guys were a year ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And they might be a little worse off to start, but
but they haven't had the official.
I think what's so disappointing is that these the people in positions of power can't see the vision. They can't see what it could do and how important it could be.
Yeah.
In the way of tourism, in the way of creating jobs. Now, these aren't your $50,000 engineering jobs, but I mean, I'm not in charge of bringing light manufacturing facilities to Buffalo. That's their job to make that more attractive to companies. I'm happy to say that we've provided 14 jobs to people here. Awesome. It's great. I mean, who's to say we don't employ 30 next year this time? I think that would be a fair assessment. But just not being able to see where this could go. Because someone could really step up and say, we're going to take the lead. We're going to be the next Cleveland. We're going to be the next Boston. And let's open it up so that food trucks can do their thing. No one's willing to do that. And it's silly. It just means you're going to get more of the same, more of the same, more of the same, and then only people like us are going to kind of squeeze through the cracks.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I mean, do you think that... obviously you guys have been pretty successful. Do you think that there's other food trucks that, if this doesn't work out better, that... you might see the number decline?
Fold up shop? Oh, yeah. We already have two that are...
Yeah, Cheesy Chick went off the street.
Cheesy Chick and Whole Hog, they're done.
Yeah.
So... I would say some of the other ones are being threatened, and they certainly won't do business in the city. I know.
Yeah, they stated that on record.
2 or 3 of them right now won't get a city permit.
And
then what are you going to have operating? Like us, Gourmet Franks, and
Black
Market.
Yeah.
I don't know. That certainly doesn't make me excited about what our potential is.
The industry as a whole, right?
Yeah. And if you look at other cities who have been open, or I guess have food truck legislation for as long as we have.
Yeah.
Like maybe a Cleveland who has it for like 4 to 6 months longer than we do. There's like 30-something trucks there.
Wow.
Boston, like 50-something trucks. So it's not where it should be.
Yeah.
And the fact that Rochester already has more than we do and they don't even have any legislation is...
Yeah.
Makes me upset.
I was really impressed when I went up there and saw what they were doing with
They're
the
doing
trucks.
good things. We're hoping... We're supposed to have Le Petit Poutine here on Tuesday shadowing us, but something came up, so we hope to see them in a week or 2.
Yeah, that is some damn good poutine.
It is.
So, with all this BS with permits and things like that, and a third truck questionable, have you guys even considered the option of a brick and mortar shop yourself?
Absolutely. I mean, before any of this even happened, we had talked about it. I think... When we originally talked, correct me if I'm wrong, we thought it was going to be more of a 3 or 5 year thing. But I think we're probably ready to rock with it.
Based on the legislation stuff, it just looks more appealing of an avenue. I would love to do a third truck. Our hearts, we say this all the time, our hearts are still in the truck game.
Yeah.
110%.
But,
I'll do it. I'll open a restaurant just to spite 95% of these people, and I'm not even kidding.
Yeah,
I'll spend every last penny I have doing that, so that I could say now, "Oh, guys, guess what? We own a restaurant too. We own property too. We
Now we
fake
pay
pay
taxes.
taxes now too. Like it's such the arguments and the points that are brought up are just so ridiculous, and
Yeah.
So
I mean, is that something that you guys have been actively looking for?
we're actively looking
for
about the last 3 or 4 months. We originally had hopes of spending our time and resources on a food truck commissary, to benefit the group here, the industry, just to
because everyone's kind of on their own.
Right, everyone's kind of on their own, and we've seen in a lot of other successful cities that they do have that hub or multiple hubs, and then we decided that it doesn't seem like we're ready for it here yet, and maybe next year this time, or I hope next year this time, that's a different talk we'll be having.
Yeah.
But I think right now our time and resources are best spent in either and or third truck in a brick and mortar location.
That would be very exciting.
So we're going to be doing some market research in the next week and a half. We're going to be heading to Chicago and Cleveland and some places that we've always wanted to see. We're going to be meeting with some other chefs and restaurateurs, and
that's cool.
Just hoping to get some feedback on some things that they found to be beneficial. And we need to keep it Lloyd though.
So I mean, if this restaurant opens, I mean, I don't want. Obviously, we're talking however far away this is, but I mean, would we expect to see a similar menu as Lloyd? I mean,
well, at first we thought no, but I think now we think yes.
After meeting with a bunch of influential people and people that know the industry a lot better than us, I mean, I don't think we've reached full potential with what we're doing yet.
Yeah,
and there's still a lot of people that haven't eaten with us one time.
Haven't even had a pork taco.
I guarantee that there's people who like you on Facebook who have still yet to actually have your food.
Which is a good problem to have.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So the more we think about our attack, if we want to go to Rochester and we want to go to Cleveland and we want to go to these other places and spread the Lloyd love, I think a 2-pronged attack of having a truck and a restaurant is going to be it's going to give us the most potential.
Yeah.
Because we'll be able to hit that lunch crowd you can't get, office parks, events. I mean, everywhere you go, there's an art festival, there's a taste festival.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to take advantage of all those things, and then we'll also have the consistency of a location where people can, live and die by. Right now, we don't have that.
Yeah.
And if it's about getting our food to the most people possible, I think we need that, and I think we need to do it anyway just to get it out of our system.
But don't lose faith, Donnie. I know you're a true foodie, and we got a lot of things up our sleeve, and we're pretty crazy. So it does. I mean, one restaurant. I mean, that's not going to be the end. I mean, I want to break off and do a lot of concept things, and not break off from the company, but just expand the reach as much as possible.
Yeah,
because we have a very talented staff. I mean,
you and Teddy are extremely talented chefs, and I've always been very impressed with what you guys put out.
I appreciate that.
And I think the problem that we run into, and this is kind of what Chris is saying, is when people see you and they see what you do, they have all sorts of ideas and things of what you should do, right?
Really?
So we have everyone and their grandma.
Absolutely. You know what you guys should do? You should pickle your goddamn red onions or bottle them.
Let's talk about that next. But when you have so many people telling you so many different things, at the end of the day, you just got to do your research, follow your gut, and
we get sidetracked a lot too. I mean, we lost direction for a little bit. We wanted to do just full bars, just blow out the alcohol and do everything crazy, and
or just
Thai trucks,
strictly
Chinese trucks, whatever.
I mean, we've got a lot of people telling us you should do a Vietnamese truck, you should do a barbecue truck, you should do this, and we'd love to do it. We love cooking those foods, and Chris and Teddy make damn good barbecue and damn good Vietnamese, but I think let's not screw with what's working right now.
Yeah.
Let's ride Lloyd out and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So
what about these red onions?
So you gotta.
It's been a long process, my man. It's been a long process.
Because you even hinted at this at our last podcast.
Chris would be happy to argue about that.
No, it's taken a lot of my time up lately. The ease in which we put, rocket sauce in a bottle, got it done, into stores.
In retrospect, is
getting our own
shocking?
state permit and all this.
It's shocking comparative to what you have to go through with these red onions. We couldn't find a company in New York that was able to bottle them at the consistency and the quality that we wanted.
Yeah.
That we do every day. So right now we're working with a company in Texas.
Wow.
And
But you're paying for it.
and that stinks. You know, we got to pay for shipping, and we're not keeping it local, which bothers us. You know, to no end. But you either are going to get the red onions on the shelf or you're not. Right now, I hope a year or two from now, you know, we'll be able to change that.
Somebody's co-packing in the area that has the capability. I mean, it's a steam process.
It's not our choice. That's
But I mean, have you been even experimenting or looking into any of the other things like the queso or any of that other
queso
stuff?
is even trickier.
Queso,
actually, for a lot of
any
reasons.
dairy product with the way we make it, and we would have to change the formula, texture, and flavor to get it on the shelf. And I'm not really willing to make that jump right now.
Yeah.
Shelf stability is a real
for a cheese
pain
product.
in
You're
the
going to
butt.
end up with Tostitos jarred salsa. I mean, which is okay for like a drunk, you know, football game watching or something. But if it's carrying our brand name, I want it to be really, really quality.
So I think, you know, the next logical choice would be putting the salsa roja in a jar. And
I liked how you guys
that would be a
gave
third product.
I don't know if that was Pete, but giving the breakdown of what each sauce type is, the mild, medium,
I think people come to the truck, and it happens all the time.
First timers, man.
Yeah,
Lloyd virgins.
Yeah, man. I'll take that mild. Oh yeah, we need to put some of that rocket sauce on there. I was like, hang on, these are two entirely different things. They look the same, but they're not the same.
I had my first burrito hot last weekend, and I was drunk. DJ ordered it for me.
Great.
And my mouth was burning for like
thank DJ
45 minutes. I was like, what the hell did you... He's like, I just got it hot. I was like, I don't get it hot.
And a lot of people's impression of hot here is Frank's.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, fine.
Which is not.
They've done a hell of a job with their company. I'm not going to doubt that. I was in Myrtle Beach like 5 years ago, and there was a Frank's hot sauce bottle on the shelf, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So maybe we took the wrong approach to re-educate people on what hot is, but you know that's hot to me.
Yeah.
And you know
we like spicy food.
Yeah. No, it's good. It just is really, really hot.
But but then that way people know.
My face off.
People know there is no true medium. I mean, I could take, 3 pounds of Roja and 3 pounds of Rocket and put them in a container and say that's our medium.
Yeah.
But literally what we do with the truck is just a stripe of each. And
yeah.
Right now that's the easiest way for us to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe someday that'll change.
Otherwise, it's just more confusing for the person that's saucing everything. The bottles get mixed up, and you're gonna...
It's bad enough, like, if you're looking at Chipotle mayo and Russian dressing, it's like they're the same friggin' color,
Yeah.
We're not that sophisticated where we have special labels or anything at this point.
I know we were talking about the last year earlier, but when you mentioned buying local, it triggered my memory that this year you guys, or last year rather, you changed your sourcing for all your proteins.
We did.
And so now, I don't know if they're all local. I know they're all like organic and
they're not all local. And I would say we are doing our darndest to get as much local as we can. But just because of the sheer volume that we do, we can't.
Cimino doesn't make that many pigs.
They don't. I wish they did. Maybe someday they will. And I think this sort of thing is growing.
Yeah,
we're going to have more access to it, which is exciting. We just made a new farm contact, a couple weeks ago, and just got some product delivered today, which is totally awesome.
Some ground beef. Let your mind think about what we're doing with it.
But I think we don't want to. Yes, some of the proteins are not local, but we don't want to sacrifice the quality.
Yeah.
We're concerned about how animals are raised. We're concerned about how this food affects our bodies. And we want to make sure that our customers have the opportunity to eat the way that I eat or try to eat all the time, or how Chris eats. And if that means us getting Freebird chicken, then hey, let's get Freebird chicken. I mean, it's 90 times better than something else you're going to find on the shelf from some feedlot sort of operation.
Yeah. So. Was there a part where you were a little concerned that it was going to drive up costs? Or?
Well, it did. It did.
I mean,
it drove costs
totally.
Up.
I mean, our pricing's still nowhere near where it should be. I mean, our margins they're not what people think they are, and it sucks. And Chris wants to punch me every day for it, but
I've calmed down a lot because realistically, how much can you charge for a taco?
Yeah.
But our prices include sales tax, so a lot of people don't realize, and they're like, "Oh man, what? This isn't a 99-cent taco from the other guys. You know, it's like, well, we're doing something a little different here.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Hopefully you can feel it, and
the
you'll
quality
be on
of the
board with
proteins it's really, really good too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
the flavor different. I mean, it's at the end of the day.
How long have you guys wanted to do this?
Oh, since the start.
from the start. I mean, we hope we could go a little more local and you know, more natural.
So the beef, the pork, and the chicken, they're not local.
Yeah.
And some of them are pretty close to here, but you know, they're legit big companies that are doing this alternative product. And the black beans are still local. You know, we still use Father Sam's tortillas, and we're still getting all of our specialty products. So, like, when you see us doing the Dirty South or the Big Lloyd, you know, the ingredients there, we're trying to use, you know, baby cow from around here when we can get it, or ground beef, like Chris was mentioning. So, our specialty items, we really try and...
That's where you kind of...
Because then you can pick and choose. You only have to take like 50 or 60 pounds at a time, and they can do that. I mean, it's still, they're like, whoa, I don't have that much.
You know, like with, you know, when we do the lengua, you know, the cow tongue and stuff. Absolutely,
I had to
we
build
want
it
that
up.
stuff to be local.
I had to build up my inventory because, I mean, I can only get like 15 pounds
It's only
at a
one
time,
tongue per animal, you know? How many are they going through?
In a week, we're blowing through 120 pounds of it, so it's like, that's why you see the specials kind of spaced out a little bit.
Yeah.
You can't keep them consistently on yet. I mean,
so that's why I can't get tongue every single...
That's one of the reasons, yeah.
That's a good problem to have.
But
for sure.
But
well, I mean, not
hopefully-
the fact that you can't find it, but the fact that it goes so quickly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're also working with, you know, some farmers and hoping that we can get on some planting schedules, and that looks a little more realistic this time around. But still, you know, just because of the amount that we're going through, it's going to be difficult. But when they have it, you know, we'll take it.
Nice.
scoop it up and do something a little different with it for sure.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start wrapping it up.
Yeah.
What do you guys hope to do? So let's talk just positive things.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys hope to do with like? Do you have more ideas for like menu specials in the future? Like, is there things you guys want to do food wise that people haven't seen yet? Like, I mean, I don't want you to give it away.
No,
obviously.
absolutely. We've been starting to utilize whiteboards a lot more, and we brainstorm, just throw things on whiteboards.
Do you have like a conference room that you're just like?
We have a makeshift office area where we're you know, it's our war room, so to say, and we
nice.
kind of gauge out what we want to try and you know how we want to go about it. But
yeah,
it's the volume issue comes into play all the time. So it's like, okay, we have these great ideas, so how do we accomplish this?
Yeah.
How do we accomplish it on 2 trucks?
Yeah.
And then how do we get everybody on the same page now? So it's a little bit more involved than just showing up at the market in the morning, picking up whatever looks good and putting it together in a taco. But yeah, there is a lot of things to come. So I mean, it'll be fun.
Speaking of volume, how like ballpark, like how much chicken and pork
Oh my goodness.
are you guys going through at this point?
Okay. Summertime, I'm going to estimate right now we're going to go through 300 pounds of chicken a week.
Jeez.
And we just put 350 pounds of beef in the oven today.
Wow.
That's the same with pork. And that's like
That's insane.
every other week.
I mean, 2010. Like, what are we even talking about? Like,
Not as much as that. You know, so it's tough to keep up. And
yeah. I mean, because your guys' roles have probably drastically changed over the last 3 years too.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we went from being grunts on the truck every single day to, you know, I mean, you guys have, you know, I can't imagine the calls you guys have to make. The prep, obviously, a lot
for
of calls, a lot of
hundreds
office,
of pounds of food.
a lot of prep work,
inventorying, ording, organizing, making sure bills are paid.
A lot of order taking, a lot of catering.
Aside from, you know, having 15 employees, so you have to work all that.
But,
it's a business.
You know,
it's good to see it flourish like that.
Yeah, it's, I mean, kudos to Chris, you know, for not killing me. Just
Yet.
I don't think. Yeah, right. I don't think we're at the point where we don't want to be on the trucks though. We still love being on the trucks. We still love interacting with the customers and
absolutely
seeing people be excited and you know, be full and fuzzy and happy and stuff. So, you know, I don't know that that's going to change, but we still are looking for good people. It's tough to find good people, and if we want to take it to the next level and get a 3rd truck and open up a brick and mortar, we're going to need 1 or 2 more key players. So
well,
so if you need a part-time job,
I was thinking about it. But guys, thank you so much for coming down here.
Yeah,
it has been awesome getting to know you guys even more over the last year.
Likewise.
You guys are doing just something really special in Buffalo, and I'm proud to say that I know you guys and that I get to eat your food. So,
well, thanks for having us.
For sure, no problem.
Thanks for being so good to us.
And hopefully next year, if we have a follow-up podcast, things will be on a much better.
Let's do it. Let's do that. And on the record, you can eat from the truck for free whenever you want.
Thank you very much. All
no
right,
problem,
guys.
man.